Welcome back to Golf Subpar with Colt, Knost, and Drew Stoltz. The first round of the FedEx Cup playoffs is in the books. Justin Rose, a 45-year-old Justin Rose, is your champion of the first one. Beat J.J. Spawn in a playoff, epic three-hole playoff, by the way, over in Memphis. Pretty crazy to see Justin Rose doing what he's doing at his age, Sleaze. It's been so impressive. This is a man who's going to be on the Ryder Cup team once again up in September. It's his 12th win on the PGA Tour. But just an incredible performance, I think, for a guy. Most guys we see when they start to get this old start to fall off a little bit, but not Justin Rose. He just takes everything so serious, cares about his body, his golf swing, and the work he does with Mark Blackburn. He's still got it.
Can I tell you something before we get going? I feel like you've done a good job taking care of your body this weekend.
Yes.
You look and sound phenomenal.
Fresh
Just
off
wanted
the
to get
member
that
guest
out there.
up at Gazer, which we'll get to.
He's a pro's pro, takes care of
bit.
himself, all business all the time. I thought you were talking about yourself, but you talk about Justin Rose. We'll get to the Gazer here in a moment.
Do you like 5 days of no water, constant drinking, and playing golf and no sleep?
And sun? Yeah, I do.
Keeps you young.
You can hardly tell is the good news.
I think I look great.
Going back to Justin Rose, 45. Like you said, most people at 45, most guys who especially played as long as he have, they start to look at like, when do I turn 50? Maybe I'll take a few years. Maybe I'll hang on to my card as long as I can, and then I'll take a knee, and then I'll pop back up on Champions Tour. He's playing as good as he's played, a decade ago, maybe more. Going to be back on that Ryder Cup team, like you said.
Runner up at Augusta earlier this year.
Runner up at Augusta, threw a little water buffalo on their asses coming home yesterday, and then went ahead and just stacked over and over on 18. That second shot, he loves that second shot on 18. And props to JJ too, dude. I mean, I think at the beginning of the year when we were kind of hyping him, this was before we were like, this kid's playing so good. I don't think we had any idea that it would be this. I mean, dude, he is fractions away from being a Players Champion, a U.S. Open champion, and a winner of a FedEx Cup playoff event in the same year. It's up to 2 now. It's been monstrous. It's getting juicier and juicier with this Ryder Cup stuff, too. Who's in? Who's out? I think Ben Griffin, I don't know what you think. I thought he was in before. I think he's for sure in now. Another top 10 for him. Novak, who'd been quiet for a little bit, showed up and played good. It's getting juicy.
I don't want to say anyone's a for sure thing. Ben Griffin, I mean, he's played so great. We were looking at it earlier. In his last 10 events, he's got two finishes outside the top 14.
And they're both missed cuts.
Yeah.
Like he's John Deere in the Open.
Yeah. I mean, he's just played so great all year long. Like, I think he deserves to be, but with these picks, man, it's stressful. I don't envy Keegan Bradley right now having to make this decision whether he's going to play, who he's going to pick. Cameron Young starting to play some really good golf again, moving up. Patrick Cantlay's right there as well. You mentioned Novak. Maverick McNeely's in the top 12 right now.
Harmon's right there.
It's a big couple of weeks coming up in Baltimore and then Atlanta.
It'll continue to shrink and whittle. I think the spots are down to 3 now. Obviously, I don't make any calls, but I think there's 3 spots available. 2 guys that were one for sure in the conversation, Wyndham Clark. He's out. Brutal final round for him to miss out on the top 50. And then Jordan Spieth is a guy whose name just always seems to be floating around, even though he's in like the mid-20s. Like if he would have gone and had 2 huge weeks, like 2 top 5s, like he would have been very much in the middle of that thing. He's not anymore. Maybe even a bigger deal for those guys is like not being the top 50 is monstrous. I mean, monstrous now, the way the playoffs work and the way the season works. Getting in those signature events, you got to try to play your way out of it.
By the way, back up. You're hating on my appearance right now when you got that thing above your lip.
You like this?
It's still there.
A lot of people.
Still there.
I can't quit it, dude.
You can't say anything.
A lot of people grocery store like, excuse me, Tom Selleck, and I'm like, yes, I know.
Oh
That's
God.
my distant relative. It's almost too sexual. I thought I was gonna get rid of it, but it's growing on me.
All right,
I kind of like this bad
Moving
boy.
on.
You should join me in solidarity.
No,
Why don't you trim up that beard and give me a mustache one time? Let's come in matching stashes.
No, thank you. I'm out on that.
Damn.
But back to the top
not for
50.
everyone.
I mean, it's so massive, the signature events. And I thought one interesting thing, and this is not to hate on Ricky Fowler because it's not his fault.
Yep.
But he just snuck in to the playoffs, goes out, plays very nice in Memphis, T6, moves up to 48. He is now in all the signature events next year. But this past year, we just saw, I believe it was on Zyre Golf, they released, Ricky Fowler made 48% of his points off 6 sponsor exemptions into signature events.
Dude, half your points. I have such a huge issue, as I think you do too, with these signature events and the way they're structured. It's like, man, the advantage that those guys have, they get that schedule. It's a joke. You have to, like we said, try to play your way out of there. It can be done, but dude, the leg up. And on the flip side, by the way, there was one rookie They made the playoffs this year. Aldrich Poggater,
One
who
guy off
won.
the Corn Ferry Tour.
Right.
Yeah.
Rookie off the Corn Ferry Tour. And he won and had a runner up and like played and missed a million cuts in between. But when he was good, he was really good. There's too much talent coming up in golf, and it's too deep for one Corn Ferry guy to make the play. Why can't we just spread these things out? If you keep your card 100, you should get the same opportunity as Scottie Scheffler gets. Because guess what? Like the top 50 guys are still going to be the top 50 guys. It's tough. Sponsors invites into those things are.
It's not Ricky Fowler's fault. It's not Jordan Spieth's fault. Like they're big names. They've done a lot in this game. If I'm a tournament director, that's who I'm going to give them to because that's who I want. It's just it's tough because those two guys and like Jordan Spieth next year, he's probably going to get most of them again. Yeah, that's how it is. That's what happens when you're a 3-time major winner. But it just puts the other guys behind such an 8 ball. I feel bad for him. It's getting harder and harder for these young guys to break through. I mean, you can play your way into signature events, but it's not easy. And it's crazy to think that in 6 events, he made 48% of his points. Talking about Ricky Fowler. And now he's going to the BMW. He'll be in all of them next year, and he has a chance to make the Tour Championship.
No rookies advancing to the BMW. It's just like, man, we keep shrinking it and shrinking it. It used to be the big thing, especially when Liv came, it was like, we're a meritocracy. You got to earn everything on this tour. There's no cuts. You gotta, you earn your points, and whoever's the best at the end, that's the way it shakes out. Now it's like, well, that's not really the case because these 50 guys, like, why can't we just put it at 100? Does that change? Does that make it terrible?
Nope.
If you keep your tour card, that's hard to do. You should have a chance to get in that, play your way into the playoffs.
Another thing coming out of Memphis, weird. Scottie Scheffler had a chance again, lost by 1. Ted Scott had to leave very last minute on Sunday, family emergency. Hope everything's okay there, but Brad Payne filled in for him. But Scottie it's just ridiculous again. He's now had, I think he's tied the record, or it's the most straight top 10s since Tom Weiskopf back in the day. Like the guy he never plays bad. We say it every week. He averages $1 million every time he tees it up, at least. But he was right there. And then Tommy Fleetwood not getting it done again. 2-shot lead, 3 to play.
Dude, I mean, it's getting to the point now where people are like, he's going to win. He's going to do it. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. There's no guarantees in this thing. He's played such good golf over and over. He's had numerous chances, not just losing these things, but like the way he's losing them. You go back to the Travelers, changing the club last minute, pretty mediocre shot to the front edge, but you would think you'd still get down in 2, at least catch a piece of a playoff, force Keegan to make birdie. He 3 putts. Keegan wins. Then you go to this week, like you mentioned, 2-shot lead, 3 to go. Got the easiest hole on the property right there. Everyone's making birdie. Damn near made bogey on it.
Yeah.
On 16, the par 5. The chip, I was like, what? That wasn't a hard chip. I mean, I know he's trying to win. Sunday, nothing's easy, trying to close the door. But then the putt on 17.
Well, I would go back to the iron shot. He was out of
that putt before he even made contact.
I would go back to the iron shot where, once again, it looked like there was just a lot of indecision there. And it's hard. I get it. It's hard to pull a club. It's hard to figure out the win, figure out the adrenaline and everything. Like, you're trying to win. Everyone's going to ask you if you don't get it done, when's it going to happen? And I feel like Thursday, Friday, it's just like, boom, here's the yardage, pick the club, let's fire. And he's right there. And then coming down the stretch, go back to the 72nd hole there, the 71st hole this week. It just looked like some indecision on what club to hit, led to a bogey. But yeah, the putt was, I don't know if I've ever seen Tommy Fleetwood make a stroke like that.
I mean, it was over before it even started. And like, I think going back to Friday, what do you have? It was at least 5. Did he have a 6-shot lead?
It was big.
At one point, like 6.
I was a little busy. I don't know. But
at this, you were off the grid. But at this point, I'm kind of thinking like the same way we talked about Cam Young. It's like, you're going to need to win in a boat race where this thing's just not even close, or he needs to be 4 or 5 back, no one expecting, and just go out and shoot 9 under or something like that. Because at this point, like, closing the door is a problem for him. He's so nice. He's such a good guy. Like, I find myself like rooting for him. And they said, just get it done so the poor guy can stop answering these questions. Look, it does not feel too bad for him. He's made now $32 million on the PGA Tour without a win. That's a lot of good golf. But, I mean, you just figure statistically, odds, one of these times you got to close the door.
And he's the nicest guy. So many people are rooting for him. You can see how much it means to him. I mean, that crowd in Memphis was behind him, I thought. But yeah, it's tough, man. Every single time now, it's like, when are you going to do it? Same thing. Cam Young went through it for a while, 6 runner-ups. I mean, you get tired of being asked that question. But once again, he came up short, but it's going to happen.
All right, from your mouth to God's ears. Let me ask you this, because he said, look, I'd rather be there and not win than not be there at all. But like, at this point, just getting hit in the face over and over, would you not rather, if you were Tommy Fleetwood, have shot 64 the final round and finished 3rd? As opposed to losing 2 up with 3 to go. Yeah. Like he says, like, I'd rather put myself there and not win than not be there. But at this point, I'm like, dude, it's happened so many times. Like, I think I'd rather shoot a low one on Sunday and just backdoor.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, shooting 64 on Sunday and moving up to 3rd, you're feeling really good about yourself.
Going into next week.
Shooting 69 and having a 2-shot lead with 3 to play and not winning, you feel like shit.
Yeah. I just feel like it's stacked up so many. If it was a one-off time, like it was good for me to get in that situation, get the experience. I'll know what to do next time. I'll know the feelings. But it's like, dude, been a lot of it. Like this doesn't even count as one of his runner-ups. He finished third. He got 6 other ones. It just feels like a lot right now. But you're playing good. By the way, another European Ryder Cupper playing good golf.
Yeah, it's we're getting close, man. It's gonna be fun. But round 1 of the playoffs done. It was very exciting. Looking forward to the BMW Championship out at Caves Valley this week. But it's time to get zoned in with our friends from Zone Nicotine. And you mentioned it at the start, just coming off the member guest up at Geyser. Got to give a lot of love to them. They do an unbelievable job. We were there for the Bull Rush. My partner, Brendan Morrow, and I. We haven't had the best track record over the years.
It's not all about wins and losses in this world.
But this year we did dominate. We won our flight, went to the shootout, and then we were knocked out of the shootout rather quickly. We don't need to get to that.
No, it's dragging.
No. Brendan, you played great all week. Awesome host.
BMO, he was motherfucking you the whole time.
So much fun. No,
I won't tell you.
It's the best member guest I've ever played in. Just got to give some love to Discovery.
It's one of the greatest places in the country.
Geyser Ranch. So no. Well, that's part of the story. But I really want to get zoned in here because I was a part of something on Sunday that I like to gamble. You like to gamble. But
I love it.
There's some action that gets to uncomfortable spots. And Sunday, earlier in the week, some of these guys, our friend Ben Lamb has been on the program. Shane Sigsby, who's a hell of a golfer, played at Notre Dame. And then 3 of the guys from Geyser, they're discussing, they want a little action. They want a big game on Sunday. It's going to be a 3-on-3 scramble. Me, Shane, and Ben versus JJ,
a little
Joe,
high-stakes scramble. I like that.
And I'm not going to give out the number, but it was high. It was very, very, very high.
It mattered.
Yes. And I told them, I said, y'all going to get dummied. Me, Shane, and I are the 2 best players out of the 6 of us, and we're on the same team. This isn't a good bet for y'all. They disagree.
And Lamb hits it hard. He can just hit it into Washington.
And once again, a scramble. Yeah. So we go out there. We're cruising. We 4 up through 13 holes. Okay, haven't lost a hole. Go to 14. Their back's against the wall. They said, we want to press. And Ben, being the gambler he is, says, I'm not going to turn down a press. So whatever you want.
It's already stacked your way.
Yeah, what do you want? And he said the full amount. So now we're playing for a very uncomfortable amount. And they win 14 with a birdie. We close them out on the original bet on 15. Okay, so we are all square in the press, and we've already won the main first bet. So now we're worth house money, but we feel like we should double it up here. We go to 16. Both teams make eagle.
Par 5, right?
Par 5. Their team hits it to about 6 feet. I hit a pitch. It's a very baby par 5. I hit pitching wedge into it off Shane's drive.
You're a long hitter.
To about 3 feet. They offer good. We say no. I leave my putter in the truck. And they make. Ben misses. Shane misses. Now I'm like, oh, dear God. I haven't been nervous over a 3-footer in a very long time. Little nervous. We knock it in. All square going to 17. Their team hits it to 10 feet. We hit it to about 18 feet. Ben, Shane miss. I bury it to, at worst case, stay even.
Hey.
Yeah.
Good putt.
The juices are flowing right now, too. They proceed to make it. We're all square. Everything on the line heading into 18. Shane smashes one down there. We're about 15 yards ahead of them. They go first. Our man Joe hits a wedge in there. Blocks a little right. I don't care what you say, Joe. You blocked it. Hits the side of the hill right by the bunker. Kicks dead left. Rolls about 15 feet going Mach 10. Crashes into the hole. Walk-off eagle to push all the bets. We still had shots, but obviously we didn't make it. But one of the worst, this would be on Scott Van Pelt's bad beats, I'm telling you. It was unbelievable that they got out of there with a tie after all that.
Sometimes it's good to walk out with it when it gets uncomfortable like that, but also it's nice to have a lot of money.
Yeah,
so there's that.
Yeah, I was like, guys, I'll do whatever you want. I'm going to take this little piece of this bet. Y'all do whatever y'all want with the rest. And I mean, they're nuts. They don't flinch over this, but it was an interesting moment. I haven't felt juice like that on the golf course in quite some time.
It is kind of fun occasionally to play like outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To like feel nervous again.
Well, my whole thought, like,
sometimes it's fun. Steady dose, tough.
On 16 over the 3-footer, I'm like, God, they're playing for so much. If I miss this, we're dead. It's going to cost them a lot of money.
Oh, that'd be one to be brought up for forever, by the way. If you go on to lose that. So who's zoned in?
Man, it was fun.
Whoever hooped it.
The match, but we'll give it to Joe. But the whole match was awesome. JJ played incredible. Nolan didn't do shit. We had a blast though. It was intense out there. We actually had a gallery watching us too.
One of the best places in the land. Also zoned in. I wasn't there. I didn't even have one. Gosler lemonade.
Yeah.
Zoned in.
You love the Gosler lemonade.
They're sneaky little critters, too. You don't really taste it until you do.
But first member guest of the season, the real member guest season, and my God, does it hurt.
It's a good start.
Like
I said, you can hardly tell, dude. You look solid.
Maybe I should not go in 2 days early. Like, maybe we just pace ourselves.
And then stay a day late.
Yeah, stay an extra day. Yeah. But the place is heaven, man. You never want to leave, especially when it's 115 degrees here in Scottsdale.
Yeah, it's not a bad spot whatsoever. All right, well done. Good job.
Yeah, shoot out.
Still got the competitive juices.
Successful.
Still got and you're headed up to the Olympics. Speaking of, I'll go ahead and take the honor on this. Heading up to the Olympic right after this
afternoon.
to go up to your old stomping grounds. How much are you looking forward to that?
The U.S.
and just reliving it. By the way, dude, there was like a tweet or some shit that went out. USGA put out like, they're going past champions, and then you pop up and it shows a couple shots, and then it's your interview afterwards. And dude, what happened to your accent? You're this little Southern kid from the. I grew up on a ranch. I had 55 acres and some mules and some horses, and I just like to hit golf balls. Now you don't have. What happened, dude?
I was young and shy back then.
Oh my God,
I was on the ranch.
I almost like that little fucking kid right there.
Now I live in Scottsdale. It just goes away.
You're like, so bro. Anyways, you've changed up. But you're a little Southern kid back then, clean shaven too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But no, it's going to be a lot of fun going up there. Got us some pictures already from some guys that are there wearing me out about it. But it's going to be cool, man. It's going to be freezing. You know how it is in San Francisco. You have to wear like 7 layers.
Ball goes 0 yards and it's freezing.
Yeah, but the USAM is always fun to cover, man. I love walking down the fairways with these kids and seeing the passion and how much it means to them. And I'm going to play some golf too. A little Cal Club, San Francisco Golf Club. Nice little stretch. I'm
2 different places.
Yeah.
I'll mind you on Vibe and Energy.
I'm playing way too much golf lately. 2 different ends of the
spectrum. Right there.
Yeah. A lot of golf lately.
Yeah, a lot of golf.
All right. Well, speaking of golf, there's a lot of golf going on right now. FedEx Cup playoffs, the Ryder Cup, which we are going to be at, and the FedEx Cup playoffs are underway, and the race to finalize Team USA is officially on. As we get closer to the Ryder Cup at Bethpage Black, there's one way to make sure you're in the middle of it all.
We've teamed up with On Location, the official travel package provider of the PGA of America and the 2025 Ryder Cup, and they've put together an incredible way to experience Ryder Cup week in New York.
Check out the Ryder Cup Plus daily ticket packages. You'll get official access to the tournament grounds, plus hospitality access to the International Pavilion. And here's the kicker.
These packages also include access to a special night event at 5 Irons Golf Grand Central location, where we'll be there in person, along with some other special guests, recapping the day, hanging with fans, and teeing it up in the simulator's bombs.
The event also includes a Callaway club fitting, great food, drinks, and a vibe that's perfect for Ryder Cup week in the city. It's going to be a blast, and you can be a part of it.
Just head to onlocationexp.com/subpar to see the exact ticket packages that include access to the 5 Iron events that we will be at. Everything you need to know is right there.
Packages are limited and selling quickly as Ryder Cup energy builds with every FedEx Cup playoff. Again, that's onlocationexp.com/subpar to secure your spot.
Subpar is not directly affiliated with the PGA of America or the 2025 Ryder Cup. All packages are provided by On Location, the official travel package provider of the PGA of America and the 2025 Ryder Cup.
Full details and policies are available at onlocationexp.com. All right, well, our guest this week, guy who knows a little something about the Ryder Cup, played in 4 of them, was captain of 1 of them. Hal Sutton joins us on Golf Subpar.
All right, our guest today had a monster career on the PGA Tour. He's a major champion, a 2-time Players Champion, 14-time winner, U.S. Ryder Cup player, and captain, the pride of Centenary College, Hal Sutton in the house. How we doing, Hal?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yes, sir.
Got it. Thanks. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to talk some Ryder Cup, some of your career, but also about Makefield putters, which I know you are all about.
Love them. They roll the ball great. I need all the help I can get these days. I don't play a whole lot anymore, and every time I put a Makefield in my hand, I feel like I got an advantage because it gets the ball rolling quickly.
I love that. I actually played with John McGinnis recently. I know was involved with them as well, and he can still roll it. It must be the putter. It can't be him.
In his case, it might still be him. In my case, it's the putter all the way.
We get Johnny McGinnis maybe doing a little calendar shoot with the putters. You know what I mean? Create a little buzz around the product. People, I think, would like that.
What would you say is the biggest difference with the Makefield putter versus your traditional putter?
Well, for one thing, they've got the weight in the putter goes right through the center of the ball. And you can distribute the weight wherever you want to within the putter, 3 different places. So you can make it heavier, you can make it lighter. I always putted better with a heavier putter. Felt like I could control it a little bit better when I got nervous. Lighter putter when you're nervous is not, feels like a snake in your hands almost. But anyway, they've got the grooves on the putter, so the ball really gets on the ground quickly. Rolls much better sooner.
I like that.
I like that a lot. How much golf are you playing? Because we were talking to you just before we came on. You said, I'm getting hard to hear and I can hear my ball land. So I know you're still playing at least some.
Well, I don't play a lot anymore. I've had both hips replaced and my left knee replaced. So, 9 holes for me is all I need. A lot of times I'll just play 3 or 4 holes with a group. And if I play a full 18, my body screams at me for a week, and I don't like that. There's no reason for me to have to go out and play anymore. And I'll tell you, when you played the tour as long as I did, my expectations are high, and what I can actually do are much lower. So it's frustrating when I do play.
Yeah, well, your expectations should be high because you had an incredible career. And you got to play against 2 of the best that have ever done it, in Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods. Not many people have been able to go head-to-head with them like you have. If I was going to ask you to break it down, like the difference between Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods, what would you say?
Well, we're talking about 2 different eras here. They both managed their ball incredible. They were both one of the longest players of their time. Big drivers, both of them. Great long iron players. Middle irons, short irons. Probably, Jack, I would say Jack's pitching the ball and chipping the ball weren't in Tiger's league. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
He hit the shot when he needed to, but what Jack did so well is he played into his strengths and away from his weaknesses. Tiger did that as well, but Tiger was fearless. I'm not sure that he would lay up as much as Jack did. Jack was an unbelievable 3-wood player. 3-wood's not even in the game anymore, and I've done a little bit of designing, and I've worked with a couple of guys, and 3-wood's not in the game. They don't have shots where you use 3-woods anymore. And Jack used 3-woods all the time for a thing called position. Nobody thinks about position anymore much off the tee.
Yeah, it's become pretty one-dimensional. Just hit it as hard as you can and go find it. But staying on the Tiger Jack thing here for a minute, Hal, like the 2 biggest wins, or 2 of the biggest wins in your career, you held off Jack at the PGA, at Riv, and then you got the best of Tiger Woods at the Players, head-to-head with him. Do either of those wins carry more weight to you than the other?
I get asked this question all the time. Not really. When I beat Jack early on, he was my idol. So to do that as a young boy growing up, I watched him on TV and I tried to emulate everything that he did. My dad used to say, we'd watch him on TV and he'd say, if that's good enough for Jack Nicklaus, that's good enough for Hal Sutton. And so to beat him was a dream come true. And then Tiger in 2000, everybody was beginning to think that he couldn't be beat. And, at TPC, his distance wasn't the factor that it could have been somewhere else. So I felt like I had him on a place that was point A to point B to point C. And at the time in 2000, I was doing that as well as anybody. So I wasn't fearful of Tiger. I felt like we'll figure this out tomorrow, I'll tell you this about Tiger. The one thing I always say about Tiger, he's the only guy that I ever played golf with that did not fear where the ball was fixing to go. He knew he had the next shot. And he's the only guy I ever saw play that way. Everybody else, they knew what their strengths were. They knew what their weaknesses were. And they were, like Jack, played into their strengths and away from their weaknesses. They got into a spot where their weakness, they had to showcase their weakness. They didn't intend to be there. They did something wrong to get there.
Interesting. Well, it's hard to believe it's been 25 years since Be the Right Club today. I thought it was cool how a lot of the players reenacted it this year. at the players, but that interaction with you and your caddy, Freddy Burns, I know how much he means to you. Do you mind sharing a little bit about Freddy and like how did y'all meet? How long did y'all work together? Because y'all's relationship was really special.
Yeah, Freddie he still is the best. He and I have been close friends forever. He used to follow me when I was in high school. And he kept telling me, one day you're going to play the tour. And he said, when you do, I want a caddy for you. And, that's my dad called him on the phone and asked him if he would be interested in working sooner than then and just to get acclimated with one another. And he caddied for me at some of the amateur tournaments around. And when I turned pro, a lot of people thought I was making a big mistake by having Freddie caddy for me because he didn't know the courses like some of the other caddies knew the courses. And I kept saying, he knows me. And that's just as important as knowing the course. And I can tell you right now, one of the caddies, an advantage to a caddy is knowing what to say and when to say it. And a lot of that is, dealing with the player's personality. And Freddie knew that as well as anybody. So he and I are still really great friends. He's still looping for some of the guys on the Champions Tour. He can't get it out of his system. So
that's awesome.
It's in the blood. I got to ask you, Hal, I don't know how much golf you're watching currently, but did you see Johnson Wagner recreate your shot at 18 at TPC Sawgrass this year by chance?
I did, and he was disadvantaged. The weather was bad that day, so I didn't have any wind or anything to deal with. And honestly, that's why I said, it was a moment of passion. When I said be the right club today, when I hit it, I knew it was perfect. The only thing that could take it away from me was an element that I was out of my control. And so few people really understood what I was saying at the time. It's in the air. I know it's good. Just don't fool me with some wind or something else,
That quote will never go away. It was such a great moment. I love it. But you're talking earlier how, there was this thing called position back in the day when you played. Now it's just bomb and gouge. What are your thoughts about where the game has gone over the last, decade or so?
Well, I might be the wrong guy to ask this question. Some people might say, well, you're just jealous because you could never hit it that far. I'm not at all. I'm glad that I played during the time that I did. I really think that position should be part of the game. I'll give you some examples. The hardest shot that I ever played in my life was if I laid up on 15 on a downslope with a little breeze in my face with a ball that spun on 15 at Augusta. Mm-hmm. A little wedge shot, but you had like a 1 or 2 foot area that you had to land that ball because the ball would spin all the way back into the water. People don't really have to think about that much anymore. And that was a hard shot. I can tell you that back in those days, there wasn't a person that didn't fear that shot to some degree. And, now you don't have to fear things like that much. So, they've taken part of the game away from us by the way it's developed. When I built this club here at Darmore Club, we don't have any GPS. We don't allow music on the golf course. We're very old school here. We have 100-yard marker, 150, 200, 250-yard marker. And, we don't have any other yardage markers. It's play by feel. And I'm trying to take everybody back to when we fell in love with the game and we weren't so one-dimensional that we pulled that rangefinder and just shot it and went right at it, To me, if you have your gut instinct because you're asking yourself to feel the shot all the time, along with the rangefinder, then you've got more game than the other person does because nobody's doing this anymore.
Yeah, well, you can speak freely, Hal, because I feel the exact same way you do. I like the style of golf that was played back then. I feel like there was way more artists than there are now, and so much more shot making, which I think is exciting to watch. Now it's just like smash it, the ball doesn't curve, go find it, try to wedge it, and make some putts. But being that that's the case now, and I don't blame these kids for playing that way, that's exactly how you have to play. But if you had a young kid who came to you who had aspirations of playing on the PGA Tour, wanted you to mentor them right now, how would you advise them?
Well, I'd advise him to play somewhere like this and play with older people that used to play the game so he could watch different shots. We we don't even try different shots anymore. You know, I used to enjoy trying to play shots that weren't obvious. You know, now it's the obvious way that everybody's going to play. And, you know, I used to work with Byron Nelson a lot, and my dad was a member at Shady Oaks where Ben Hogan was at, and I got to spend some time with those kind of guys, and I spent a lot of time with Jackie Burke, and those guys used to control the trajectory that they hit it. All of the best players in the world at the time. Hogan looked at me one day and he said, Hal, he said, the key to you being a really good player is knowing whether you want to hit it through the second story window, the third story window, fourth story window, or the fifth story window on that building right there. And, you know, that's the way Hogan played golf.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you say, I know it's obviously very different, and a lot of it's the equipment, but like I feel like there's a lot of old school in Scottie Scheffler. I think a lot of that's because he grew up working with Randy Smith, who's about as old school as they get. But what do you think about his game when you watch him play?
I love watching him play because he's not the norm.
Yeah.
You know, everybody got to where they were swinging alike and doing everything alike. And all of a sudden, here comes Scottie Scheffler, the best player in the world, and he doesn't do it quite the same way everybody else does it. And he's damn good at it. So I really like watching Scottie Scheffler play.
Yeah, and that's a testament to Randy Smith, I think, for not changing that DNA from the time he was a kid. But let me ask you this, because there's a few guys that I feel like are going through this right now. You came out on the PGA Tour, had success right away. You're Rookie of the Year. You won. Then you won big tournaments. And then you kind of went through a lull. And then you recaptured it again. What do you attribute that to, that lull? Was it something specifically you did? And what would you advise these guys that are kind of going through that right now? Like, how do you get it back?
Well, I think, you know, when I came out on the tour, I was Rookie of the Year my first year, Player of the Year second year. And everybody put the expectations on me that they put on Tiger, and I didn't perform, you know, the next Jack Nicklaus. And, you know, all of a sudden, I won 6 more times in the next 3 or 4 years, but that wasn't enough to make everybody happy. And, you know, I got to where I played golf to make me happy to begin with. And now all of a sudden I'm reading how I'm disappointing everybody else in the world. I kind of got to where I didn't enjoy it and didn't want to play. But that's the way I made my living, so I couldn't quit. And, you know, I started buying cutting horses and thinking I was going to be a cowboy, mainly because I wanted something else to do besides play golf. And, you know, then I had along came a daughter in the late 90s, and I was older at that point. I didn't have any children to that point. And, you know, all of a sudden I said, you know what? I want my kids to know that I know how to play golf. So I had a new point, a new reason. You know, we lose our reasoning for doing it because we get distracted with things. I don't know how these people do it now with social media and everything else. You know, I cared too much what everybody else thought. And if everybody had access to me to write it down what they thought, I wouldn't own a phone. I wouldn't be part of social media or anything else, because everybody in the world not going to like what you're doing, no matter what you're doing. And, you know, if you care at all, you got to stay away from all that. And I cared, you know, when people said Hal Sutton's disappointing us, or he's not living up to our expectations, or whatever else. It's like, hey, I'll go do something else. And, you know, so if I were advising these younger people that you're talking about right now, I'd say you got to have a reason. You got to have a point. You got to stay focused on that. And if you're giving yourself a reason not to, you know, like Tommy Fleetwood, I'm a big Tommy Fleetwood fan. And I hope Tommy Fleetwood is listening, because he's trying not to lose instead of trying to win. And, I mean, that was obvious on Friday and Saturday, where he didn't want to hit it in the water, so he hit it way right. And, you know, you can't do that. I mean, you know, when I'm coming down the stretch on 18 with Tiger, if you go back and look at that, Freddy's telling me all the way to the 18th tee, you're the best driver in the game, Hal. You got to hit driver. Well, the reason why he was telling me that, I had hit 3-wood the first 3 days just for position. He knew I needed the last shot in, and the only club I had in my bag that I could out-hit Tiger Woods was a driver, because he was going to hit that 2-iron, Stinger 2-iron that he hits, and I couldn't out-hit that with my 3-wood. So, if I hit driver, I got to hit it down the left-hand side to do that. And, I'm trying to win. I'm not trying to not lose.
That's a great story. All right, before we get back to Hal Sutton, this podcast is supported by Carlisle Companies, a leading manufacturer of innovative building envelope systems. With buildings responsible for over a third of total energy use and energy demand on the rise, Carlisle is meeting the challenge head on. Carlisle's advanced energy efficient and labor-saving solutions help reduce strain on the grid while reducing labor for contractors. A great example of Carlisle's latest innovations is Henry UltraTouch Recycled Denim Insulation, made from sustainable recycled denim cotton clothing fibers. Henry UltraTouch delivers high thermal performance for improved energy efficiency while being safe to handle and easy to install, making it ideal for residential use in wall studs, ceiling joists, and between open roof rafters. Made with 80% recycled denim, UltraTouch diverts nearly 20 million pounds of textile waste from landfills each year. UltraTouch insulation is just one example of how Carlisle is working towards a more sustainable future. Learn more at carlisle.com. Now back to Hal Sutton. I want to go to something I know that you're very proud of, and that's being on the Ryder Cup. You played in 4 of them, captain of 1, but we got the Ryder Cup coming up here in a few weeks. Can you give us some good Ryder Cup stories? Do you remember your first tee shot you ever hit?
Yeah, first tee's always a good one.
First tee shot.
First tee, that's the most nervous I've ever been whenever I'm playing for the country. And even the last time I played, I never got used to that. It was always something that meant so much to me. Not only was I failing myself, I was going to fail the team and the country if I didn't play well. And so, yeah, you get nervous there. You do get nervous. Yeah, heavy putter's important.
Heavy putter, yeah.
I need a sledgehammer to get it back out there. The big story, I think, going into this year's Ryder Cup, Hal, is Keegan Bradley. What's he going to do? Is he going to be a player? Is he going to be a captain? You've been both. If Keegan was sitting right next to you, you know the time obligations, the things that go into being a captain and a player. What do you think he should do? What's the best course of action?
Well, he's already spent a lot of time being a captain because they cart you around promoting it everywhere in the country. So the PGA of America does. So he's already put his time in my opinion, as a captain. I think he ought to play, to be honest with you. If he called me and asked me what, I'd say play. I always had more fun playing because you can affect the outcome playing. As a captain, you're no better than they are playing. And if they're not playing well, it's pretty hard to win, no matter what you do. You can't out-captain out of that. And so I'd play.
Would you tell him to play and be captain or just play?
Just play.
Just play, defer the captaincy to someone else.
Yeah, because it takes your mind off of the playing if you've got to make some decisions on being a captain too. I think he ought to. He's got qualified people that are assistants. He can let one of them do it,
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously you're not going to get many chances to be a Ryder Cup captain. He was obviously appointed at a very young age, and he's been playing great golf. I just know if the job's to put the 12 best players out there, he's one of them. He's on that list.
That's my opinion too.
Yeah, I like it. Tell us a little bit about the away Ryder Cup. Like, it's just so difficult to win on foreign soil. I mean, we see it every year where the home team, especially since 2012, has just dominated. What makes it so difficult playing away?
Well, I think, personally, I'm glad you asked me this question. I think we have less imagination and we're less artists in this country because we're playing under the conditions of our environment here. They have more shots. They have more imagination. They're more willing to hit a different shot than American players are. Well, I mean, we're just a product of our environment here. And I just think, that's why I came back. We built a C.B. McDonald Seth Rainer course here where you use the ground to maneuver the ball. I believe that golf should be art. And, the rest of the world right now thinks golf is a number or data. Yeah. And, I just don't think it is. I think it's a mixture of both. I mean, I taught for a little while, you'd have TrackMan on and, you'd have a monitor over here, and they'd hit a shot out of the bay, out into the range, and the kids today, they don't even let the ball hit the ground until they're looking at the data. And I'm screaming at them, watch the ball till it hits the ground, because the ball is saying the same thing that this data is saying. But if you don't watch it all the way, you can't relate what the ball said to the data, and you can't take the data out on the golf course. And, it's just, I don't know. These guys are growing up with phones.
Yeah.
We didn't grow up with a phone.
You mentioned TrackMan, and it is fascinating because we're talking about Scottie Scheffler earlier. Like when I'm out there doing the coverage, I go on the range before the guys play. Normally Scottie's teeing off rather late on the weekend. He's the only one that doesn't warm up with a TrackMan once the tournament starts.
Well,
it's just
God bless him. That's all I got to say.
He's got his grip trainer. Yeah. He goes out there, he warms up to warm up, and then he just goes and plays golf.
TrackMan was really designed just to let somebody, you could hone in how far you hit your irons, basically. It's got 26 different functions on it. If you let those other functions get in your head, you kind of forget about what you're doing. And, I own a TrackMan, and I never get it out. Of course, I don't play anymore, but I mean, if I played every day, I wouldn't get it out. I don't need it.
Yeah, I think technology has ruined more players than it's made great. I've seen guys get obsessed with watching their swing and drawing lines and the TrackMan numbers, and they forget how to go post a score. So, I agree with everything you're saying. Do you think it's still the case nowadays with the Americans and the Europeans? You talked about them being more artists. Pretty much all of their team plays predominantly on the PGA Tour. There's a couple guys playing on Live as well, but they play American golf from January till the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, but they didn't grow up playing American golf. They grew up playing their golf over there. So it's still fully ingrained into their mind over there. And, they're willing to hit different shots, and Americans, we're slow to go to it because never played it really, we don't have any water on this golf course. We don't have any forced carries on this golf course here. I did that on purpose so people would use the ground to maneuver the ball some. In the old days, you used the ground a lot to maneuver the ball.
Yeah, absolutely.
We take a quick break from Hal Sutton to tell you about Nutrafol. You've probably seen a million ads for hair growth products and thought, sure, like that actually works. I did too, until I found out that Nutrafol isn't like the rest of them. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand trusted by over 1.5 million people. You can feel great about what you're putting into your body since Nutrafol hair growth supplements are backed by peer-reviewed studies and NSF Content Certified, the gold standard in third-party certification for supplements. It's easy to build into your daily routine. Purchase online, no prescription required. With a subscription, you can save up to 20%, get free shipping, access to free one-on-one naturopathic doctor consults, and even a Headspace membership. See thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code SUBPAR. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code SUBPAR. Now, back to Hal Sutton.
Well, tell us a little bit about Darmore. Where exactly is it located? Because I know you're very passionate about your course design and everything, but just tell us a little about it. Where'd the name come from?
Well, the name came from the guy that put up all the money to build this. He was in the mining business, sand and gravel, and everything that he does, his first name is Darcy and his wife's name is Morgan. So everything that they do is in Darmore. Well, he said, what name do you want to use? And I said, love Darmore. Sounds Scottish. And we're going to build a link style golf course. So, it'll be perfect. There's nothing else in South Texas. We're just outside Houston. Nothing else down here named anything like that. So it'll stand out. And he loved Golden Age golf courses. So he said, you think you could build a C.B. McDonald, Seth Rayner template golf course? And I said, sure, we can build that. So we've built 17 template holes here. And it's really a fun golf. No water. Where else in Texas is there a golf course with no water on it? That's in the United States, water's used all the time on a golf course. What makes things hard for a a really good player is a parallel hazard. We know how far we're going to hit it. A really good player, you know how far you're going to hit it. So something that's in front of you that you got to carry it over, that's not really a problem. That's only a problem for a higher handicap player. And I was trying to put the artistry back into the game. So that's why we did all this. And, you know, we don't have a sign at the front gate. We don't have a website. We're only going to be 200 members, and in a year we've sold 145 members. And I mean, people got to reach out to us to be part of this. And it's just a cool place. First place that was mined in Colorado County for sand and gravel. So it's got some Portrush look to it.
Oh, wow.
You know, where the big dunes and stuff. It's got some blind shots on it. You know, Americans don't like blind shots because one of the great players, Ben Hogan, said, how can you hit something you can't see? But a blind shot is very freeing if you will accept it. We built the Dell, which is at Lahinch in Ireland, and it's a 135-yard par 3 that you can't see. And I fixed the green where we'd have some hole-in-ones. It's got a little bit of a trough in it. We've had 8 hole-in-ones in the first year on it, and it's blind. And, you know, people get there the first time, and it's like, wow, this is crazy. I don't like this. It's probably our favorite hole on the golf course because you don't know what's going on up there, and it's freeing because it's a wedge shot. And all you got to do is clear the hill in front of you. You're going to be on the green. And, you know, I've taught a few people about letting go. You know, don't get so uptight. Anyway, it's just been a fun endeavor for me.
That's awesome.
You got anything on the horizon architecture-wise, or any like future projects, things you're working on?
Yeah, we're thinking about building an Alister McKenzie golf course right here too. The master of camouflage, you know, and we're going to follow the 13 principles that he believed great golf courses followed. I'm going to go back out to the Walker Cup this year. You know, I played in the Walker Cup in 1981 when it was at Cypress Point. So I'm going to go back to Cypress Point and pay attention while I'm there because Alister McKenzie, that was one of his greats there, you know. And you follow Alister McKenzie. I don't know if y'all have read much about him, but, you know, he never got fully paid for either Cypress Point or Augusta. They didn't pay him in full. And two of the great icons in golf, and he died not being fully paid for either one of them. And I don't know if y'all knew that or not.
I did not.
Yeah. And, you know, your greatness is not always recognized in your lifetime. So those people that, you know, Tiger and Jack and everybody that's done so great in golf, you know, being recognized in their lifetime is pretty cool for them, you know.
Absolutely. I got one more course design question for you, because nowadays when they ever go in to restore a place or, you know, tweak it here and there, we're removing all the trees. How does Hal Sutton feel about removing the trees?
Well, if superintendents were in charge of that, there'd never be another tree on a golf course. You know, if position means anything to you, there's a reason for those trees being there. They really create where you want to be. You know, I think too many trees make it difficult for the golf course to be in good shape all the time. And then the lack of trees, you better be really good with a lot of other things. You know, here we have the where it was mined that helped shape. I mean, it's kind of like a tree being over there, you know. So, you know, and of course, link style golf course, if the wind is not blowing, like we saw at Portrush this year, they pretty much manhandled Portrush. But if the wind is blowing, link style golf is some of the hardest golf there is in the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard to build things nowadays that these guys don't manhandle with the distances they hit it. It sounds like you're doing some cool work with like old school kind of, you know, redoing some of the old classic designs. Is there any current architect in the world right now making golf courses who you look up to or you think does a great job?
Well, yeah, I think Doak and Gil Hans, they're both, you know, they're doing a great job with what they are doing right now. To me, building a really good golf course requires imagination. The obvious stands out in front of you, but one of the hardest things about golf that we're not doing enough of is the kind of lies you get on a golf course. You go to Scotland and, the hardest shot in the world is trying to keep the ball down when there's a 2-foot hump in front of you. That it's just a rise in the fairway where the fairways are doing this, and you need to get it up and you're on the downslope, or you need to keep it low and you're on the upslope. There's not enough of that in the country, or, the ball's below your feet or the ball's above your feet. I mean, it kills me when people say they want to put AstroTurf on the driving range so that people hit off of AstroTurf. There's nothing in the world that kills your game quicker than hitting off AstroTurf, in my opinion. You can't miss it.
Yep.
And they need to miss it. They need to hit it fat. They need to hit it thin so that they know, hey, they have to question it. And, no way will we put AstroTurf on the back of this range. I just built the tees big enough that we won't ever have to do that.
Love that.
So, yeah.
That's great. I love it. All right, let's get to our E9 here. We've got just a few minutes left. Sleaze, you want to start one off here?
I'll give you one here. Hal, all right, you can't say Tiger or Jack. We talked about Tiger and Jack. You can't answer either one of them for this question. But if you could pick any U.S. Ryder Cupper in the history of the Ryder Cup, 10-footer, final hole to win the Cup, who do you want hitting it?
Well, his record says Larry Nelson.
Interesting. I like that.
What was his record? Did he have?
Go back and look at it. He's got
crazy.
The best record, probably one of the best records. And another really good one is Raymond Floyd.
Yeah. He was
Bulldog.
Killer.
Yeah.
I like
Need
that.
more of those.
All right. Do you still have the cowboy hat that you rocked at the Ryder Cup when you were captain?
Yes, I do still have it, and I got criticized for wearing that, and all the caddies gave me that. And you think I'm not going to wear it out there? It's like, that's our team. That's our guys that are walking the fairways with us, So,
I thought
they're going to criticize something at the Ryder Cup
absolutely.
all the time.
I thought it was cool though that was a gift from the caddies. I like that.
Yeah, it was a cool gift, and I still have it.
Good.
This isn't like an E9 question, but how New York, Bethpage, fans are different up there. You got any hesitation or any reservation about what you think the fans might do at the Ryder Cup this year?
Well, they're going to be into it. There's no doubt about it. And, if it's going well for the Americans, it'll be great. And if it's not going good for the Americans, it won't be so good.
Mm-hmm. They're tough up there.
They're tough.
Very passionate. All right, last one for me here. You can't pick one of your own golf courses. You have one round of golf left to play in your life. Where are you going to play it?
First tee time at Pebble Beach, and as soon as I finish there, I'm going to go over to Cypress Point.
Love that. That's not a bad
good day. It's a good day.
That's a good day.
Tough one to be. I'll just throw this one out here. Last round of golf you played where someone in your group didn't say, be the right club today.
The last time I played, I only played 3 holes with them, and no one said be the right club today. But, that was a moment of passion. I can be walking through the airport and somebody will holler from across the way, be the right club today. So people haven't forgotten it.
It's an all-timer. It's an all-timer. I say it, and it's never the right club, Hal.
Well, sometimes it wasn't for me either.
Hey.
So
More often than not, it was, though.
Yeah.
But Hal, it's been a lot of fun sitting down with you,
Yes,
getting
sir.
to hear some cool stories. Everybody go check out those Makefield putters. But Hal, thank you again, my man. That was fun.
All right. Enjoyed it, guys.
Thank you, Hal.
All right, that was Hal Sutton joining us on Golf Subpar. I really enjoyed that, man. He's old school. Love what he's doing, like with his golf courses, how he's designing them. But I just love how he sees the game. And I told it, as a guy who didn't hit it very far, the artistry that is out of the game now, it's tough. But he had an unbelievable career. 14 wins, major championship, 2 players, Ryder Cup captain.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Good from the jump.
Yeah.
Which was rare back then. We're getting more superstars coming out early now, but I agree with like damn near everything he said. I don't know. But I felt this way even when I was younger too. I was never like short, but I was never the longest. But I just feel like the game now, like there's you go back and watch some of those guys play, like when it comes on Golf Channel or whatever, there's so many cool shots being hit, like these flighted long irons, or they're curving it. And like, it just seems like you watch now, every tee ball, it's a little left to right anymore. There's hardly any drawers of the ball off the tee. And then the irons don't really move a whole lot. It's just that it feels like a lot of that's gone, and it's nobody's fault. That's how I'd try to play if I was coming up now. I'd learn to smash it, but it's just like that type of golf. I miss that stuff. It's so much more fun. Ball spins more, bad shots get penalized more.
I loved what he said about 15 at Augusta. And I tell people that all the time. Like the people that have not been there, when you get out there in the nut fairway and you see how downhill that lie is and how it's also above your feet to that really shallow green, like he said, with a spinny golf ball, he goes, that's about as nervous as you get hitting that shot right there. And that's what it also shows you, how good all these great players are, that they can hit those spots in those very difficult situations. But I think that third shot on 15 at Augusta is one of the most underrated shots there is.
Great point he made too about like when we're getting into architecture stuff. He's like, so much of it, like thing that's forgotten nowadays is like the lie. Mm-hmm. You know, like there's just American golf. Like we just don't have the rolling hills, the linksy stuff. He made great points. Like you're trying to flight it down off an upslope. You got a mound in front of you. You need it up and you're on a down. Like that's an easy way. Like when we played Shady Oaks in Fort Worth, which you've played, it's short. It's not a long golf course. And you look at it like, oh, dude, 6,900 or 7,000 yards. Like, we should go torch this. But and you're just hitting wedge after wedge, but you're always hitting it off an uneven. On our scores out there, we're always like higher than the other ones. Even though I'm like, the longest club I hit into a par 4 was a 9-iron or something, but I'm not making birdie. It's an easy way, like a fun, and it makes it, I don't know, when you're trying to fade balls off when the ball's above your feet and things like that. It's just something you don't get a lot of anymore.
I really want to go check out this Darmore.
Yeah, it sounds nice, doesn't it?
That sounds
old
sweet.
School. Yardage, just 100, 150, 200. I like that.
But thanks to Hal Sutton for joining us here. All right, before we get out of here, guys, make some picks.
Let's gamble
and
on
also,
something.
real quickly, though, there's just something about custom gear. It looks better, feels better, and let's be honest, it plays better. We recently made some Birdie Juice gear, and the whole process was seamless. Super easy design, and they turned out sick. You can build your own setup, too. Hats, polos, hoodies, whatever you need, all from the top golf brands, and fully customized with your logo or design. So skip the off-the-rack stuff, head to shop.golf.com, and make something your crew will actually want to wear. Hopefully give you some winnings this week, and you can go buy some sick new gear.
Mm-hmm. Make up for Russell Henley. We both had him. From now on, if we end up having the same one and we don't go over these beforehand, we're just going to switch. Okay. I don't think we've ever hit on the same one.
Well, BMW Championship, just 2 events left in the FedEx Cup playoffs. Just 2 events left to see who's going to make the Ryder Cup team. I know how bad this guy wants to be on the Ryder Cup team. He has some pretty good success around Cays Valley, and I think the time is now. He's got to turn it on if he wants to be at Bethpage. Patrick Cantlay, top 10 plus 175.
Top 10, coming off one. Also, when you said this guy really wants to be on the Ryder Cup, I thought we were going to do it again. But I'm going with a guy who also really wants to be on the Ryder Cup. T6 last week has had some crazy hot stretches this year, followed by some not great stretches. But we learned recently like he was battling a little injury. But anytime he's finished in the top 10, which he did this past week, he's backed it up, never finished outside the top 20 the following week. So I'm going to go back into the top 20 world. Plus 140. It's not a ton, but I really like it. Give me Andrew Novak.
Yeah, big 2 weeks for him, man. Sitting there 12th on the Ryder Cup. He's got to go. Was dealing with those injuries earlier in the year. That's when he kind of went through a little bit of a lull. But good to see him play well this past week. Yeah, this is a big one for him.
Yeah, and I feel like when he plays good, like he normally pieces a few weeks back to back to back. So we'll see. Top 20 plus 140, Andrew Novak. Let's go.
All right, perfect. Well, send us out of here.
Yes. When it comes to our friends at Zone, quick warning for you. This product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Underage sale is prohibited. When I need to dial things in on the course, I go with Zone Nicotine Pouches. Why? 1, stronger nic intensity. 2, better flavors. And 3, they last longer and they're more comfortable than any other pouch out there. You will not catch me on the course without at least 1 can of Zone in my bag. The 9 milli spearmints. That's the way I like to go. You want Zone pouches at a discount and mailed right to your door? Head to nicokick.com. That's NICOKICK.com. Enter code Subpar20 at checkout for an additional 20% off.
All right, we are out of here. We'll talk to you on next week's Subpar.